Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Crystal Spire Network. I'm your host, Ellen Pring, and today we have a fine group of people on our show. Now, don't we, Jug?
Of course we do!
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Now, if you won't introduce yourself, we'll start with you, Mr. Finn.
Oh, hello. You can call me Finn. I'm a member of Mortalis, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Then, how about you, Reeve?
Well, as you previously stated, I am Reeve.
Of course. Then I don't know the rest of you, so offer your names. Another two of you.
I'm Surge Fan, aka Eva, a member of Mortalis.
Wonderful. And how about you?
My name is... I'm Beelzebub, you can call me Beelzebub.
Like the demon?
I'm one of the rulers of... yeah, like the demon.
Oh. Interesting, now. Are you associated with any way with Beelzebub the demon? The demon of gluttony, of course.
I kind of took after the name.
Interesting. Isn't that very interesting, Jugular?
Very interesting. I've never heard of you.
Neither have I. Well, no. I suppose we should get to our questionings. Juggler, would you have any questions for us for any of these fine gentlemen and women?
I think you should take the lead.
Well, then, of course, the host has to, host, actually. So, Reeve, how about you go first, since you're quite talkative? Now, I would like to ask you what Mortalis stands for. What does Mortalis stand for? What are you people?
Well, we're people. We stand for individualism and making our own choices and seeing how far it takes us.
Interesting. So, what does that entail?
Well, it entails independence, but also strong teamwork, knowing that there is trust rather than reliance and putting pressure on one individual person rather than all of us experiencing the same pressure.
So, you share the burden of leadership amongst you all, correct?
Yes.
Social democracy.
Interesting. So, how does that work in which a scenario in where someone disagrees with the greater whole?
We all either... Yeah, compromise.
Compromise, then?
Votes and compromise.
Very interesting. Now, I've heard some things about the gods that you folks have quite a hefty opinion on. Would you mind delving into those, any of you?
Generally, we just stand... We don't particularly have a problem with the gods, but we just stand on the principle that society's reliance on the gods has gotten out of hand. We stand for the fact that mortals can operate without the gods, hence the name Mortalis.
Yes. What beautiful.
Anything you have to say about this, Jugular?
I think I have some notes, but I think I'd rather bring that up later, personally.
Of course. We'll bring up our own concerns at a later date. We'll just let them speak their mind at first. How does that sound? Sounds wonderful, no?
Of course. Actually, I do have one thing.
Oh?
What happens when no one can agree on something? Is it just null and void, or does it get sent to the...
Depends on the issue.
That would be the decision.
Definitely case by case.
What? I know at one point in time, at least, you had a king, didn't you? Or a queen?
Yes, I remember hearing a little bit about that.
Yes. What makes them so different from the rest of you?
Don't you change your hierarchy?
So we have, consisting of our ranks, we have knights, and we also have crowns, as we call them.
Pardon. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you're telling me that there are ranks in what is supposed to be a a social democracy, in a place that every individual is supposed to hold power. What defines ranks?
it's something of a hybrid between a social democracy and a constitutional monarchy.
Yeah.
Interesting, though.
So it's to put that in place so that
You know how that one kingdom, I think it starts with an E, Ing something. They have a queen, and yet they have a leader. They call it a prime minister. Kind of like that.
yeah.
It's more to like for social. It's let's say we need 3 people. We have I'm not. It's like we have a system that works.
The issue lies in that if we needed someone to be a utmost representative of our group, like, oh, we need one person of the group to come and have a sit down with us and speak to us. They just stand as the figurehead rather than the necessary leader of the group.
Interesting.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, does this figure hold any more power than the rest of you?
No.
Only socially, I'd say.
I mean, yeah,
And
socially, because that power comes with responsibility, and that responsibility is expected upon those people that are given that title.
So, you hold no physical power if you're given this rank, correct? But you are given social power, which is still, objectively, power. And furthermore, you are given extra responsibility despite the fact that you stated that you wanted everyone to share responsibility equally and not have one person overburdened. Do you not think that this person with this rank wouldn't
That is
become
why-
overburdened?
That's why there's not just one person as a quote unquote social representative. That's why there's multiple, so that way they can shoulder the burden together instead of falling onto one person.
And then why not? Why
Yeah.
isn't everyone one of these higher ranks? Why isn't everyone one of these?
Not everyone can be represented by not everyone can be a representative. Not everyone is social. Not everyone can be in a social environment. It's better if there's only a couple people that can.
Some people
handle
aren't,
it.
for lack of a better term, marketable. They're not the kind of person you'd want to send out to be the
Yeah.
representative of your group.
That and the people that ended up becoming part of the ranks are the first people that showed their loyalty and their dedication. Which, not to say that the other people that have joined, I have asked other people that have joined if they want to be part of our ranks. It is their decision if they want to be a citizen, a knight, or a crown.
Interesting, now. Very interesting, Jugular. Wouldn't you agree?
I would absolutely agree.
So, very interesting concept. Very interesting in theory, but in practice, how well does this work? Is there no animosity, period? Does everyone just accept their roles and ranks as it is?
As of now, no one's
There's the only animosity stems from just simple human interaction. There's no animosity within the inner workings of whatever quote unquote government we might have. Things are very smooth.
I see it like this. The way it's working, the way it is right now is working. That goes to show that our methods do work. Yes.
Let me ask something.
Yes, of course, Jug.
You know, I do feel that we may be going on about this other topic quite a bit, so I want to move on before we keep circling like around and round. What would you say about do you have a judicial system?
Let's say it is so the members can decide, and we make those decisions based off of the way the person we know. So let's say someone is caught stealing, one of Mortalis is caught stealing, which no one has. We as a community, as a collective, come to an agreement on what should happen to that said person. Now, if people differ, we can talk about it and we can discuss it. But as of now, everything has worked smoothly.
Of course.
Now, in the case scenario of someone committing a crime within Mortalis, as you said, everyone must agree on a punishment, correct?
Everyone has to agree, or if it's a crime that happens to be outside of Mortalis' borders, the representatives can talk, or the representatives we have set talk with other factions to decide a punishment.
Of course. So, what happens if someone within Mortalis is biased? What happens if one of their friends committed a crime and they want to protect them, so they just don't agree with whatever punishment that the rest of Mortalis puts forth? Even if the entirety of Mortalis, except them, agrees to this punishment, they refuse as a way to protect their friend from punishment. Do you have any system to prevent that?
There is, when it comes to bias is something that is just inherent in all beings. When it comes to people protecting the ones they care about, that is something that cannot be stopped. It will happen no matter what. No systems can stop bias. Now,
so are you saying that you're not even going to try to stop the bias?
We would
What he's saying is that the issues will always exist. Obviously, there's no perfect governmental system that could prevent bias from having some type of influence, especially within a person who has power. But it lies that while we don't have an independent branch of our government that's tasked with interpreting some type of penal code, all of us come together as a community to protect individual rights. And the clause lies that if one person is to attempt to sabotage the rights of the group, then they would only be sabotaging the rights of themselves as well. Everything sets a precedent. You condemn someone for stealing, then in the future it's only right that you are condemned for stealing. The decisions are left up to the people because the people know what's best for themselves. It's a situation of empathy and trust.
So your governmental system is based upon personal bias. Now that is quite interesting.
No, trust.
But trust isn't black and white.
Neither is bias.
What do you have to say about this, Jugular?
I would honestly argue that bias is very black and white. Under certain context. I mean, if you like somebody, you are more likely to be biased against them if something happens to them.
Exactly.
Would you not disagree?
Couldn't one be conscious of their own bias, however?
They can, but still, bias still exists regardless.
There's still, yes,
That's
bias
my point
still
exactly.
exists.
Bias exists regardless. What governmental system exists to counteract bias wholly other than a social democracy?
But this social democracy provides its own risks. You see, some people, they don't care about other people. You must understand, some people are in it for themselves. And with that fact, you could have a member someone who joins Mortalis only in it for themselves, and could easily, very easily, mind you, play this system to their advantage, because it's made with bias ingrained within it. And it's built upon the trust and empathy that people have for each other. And if said person doesn't have trust nor empathy, then it doesn't work.
Well, the most damage that they could do would be potentially stealing something, but any valuables that we do have would be kept, tucked away where they wouldn't be stolen. Obviously, a new member, while they are brought in on a trust system, isn't going to be given the same level of access or quote-unquote clearance to everything else as someone else would. They'd have the same power in terms of decision-making, because like I said, whatever decision they make reflects upon them, but we're not just going to keep, stacks of precious gemstones lying around in the chest outside.
But what about if said person steals from another kingdom? And then that kingdom wants that person to be punished, and now you have to deal with Mortalis' own judicial system, and this other person's judicial system clashing.
This goes back to what I said earlier. If it's a consequence of to deal with some outside faction, you would send the representatives to deal with that. To deal with that situation.
Right. That's where negotiations come in. That's just simple diplomacy. I mean, what is the severity of the crime?
I get it now. So the crowns, as you call it, do have more power than the normal people, because they and they alone will be sent in the case of more diplomatically shaky situations.
They don't have more power except in the sense that they're a figurehead. They're what everyone would see as the most powerful, even though they hold, the same diplomatic authority as everyone else.
Yes, but
responsibility and representation.
But to avoid such a potential disastrous political landslide, you wouldn't want to let everyone in on such a highly controversial and highly sensitive topic, such as a situation like that would be. And I assumed what you were saying is that you were sending the crowns to have sole authority within this situation. Is that wrong?
No. The crowns are simply the representatives of the opinion of the people of Mortalis.
So it's...
Elian, can I ask you a question?
You know what? Sure, go ahead. We can't stay on this one topic forever. I'm just spicing up a little bit.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Yes, what would you do?
Well, that's a silly question. I'm a radio host. I'm not a ruler.
Well, indulge me. Let's say you had your own nation. Correct? Let's say you had your own nation, right? Let's say your aspiration wasn't to be a radio host, but it was to be a part of a nation, and you were in charge. How would you stop bias?
Well, that is a very interesting question. It's a very interesting topic and a very complex topic to ask. And now, I have never stated that the way you're going about it is inherently wrong. I'm only stating that it is flawed.
I know. I understand what you're saying. I'm just asking from your personal opinion. How would you intend to if my system is, as you say, unbalanced? How would you balance that per se? Can you elaborate?
Then you would have one person elected by the people to run said nation. In this case, I was elected by the people. Then underneath me would be a council of people also elected by the people, and all of us would collectively convene and discuss sensitive topics such as this. We would come to a consensus, but at the end of the day, the figurehead, that being me, would hold the utmost power. If the council couldn't come to a clear, concise decision, then it would be up to the head, myself, to come to an actual decision. And that way there is no stagnation within our government, and that way we can continue to thrive.
How do you prevent bias from the head?
Yeah.
That would be the worst bias of them all. Rather than having stagnation, you would have, God forbid, a psychopath ruling or something.
Well, it presents very little risk. Instead of having, let's say, 10 different people, all with their own personal biases, you have one person with their one personal bias, surrounded by other advisors and stuff, and therefore they also, mind you, they have to be elected by the people. Therefore, the people have to want them in charge regardless.
But what happens if they find a way to rig the system? If they find a way to make their bias sit on top, and that's how they've stayed in power, not by the people's choice. How would you go about that?
Of course, there would be heavily guarded voting systems, very much so refined systems. Of course, I'm not going to start a kingdom from the ground up without knowing what I want. If I'm going to establish a kingdom, these kind of systems would already be made and finalized and perfected beforehand. So, therefore, there is no finicky issues.
Sorry to cut you off. That's the thing. What you're suggesting is going off of the blueprints that people have built before you, so to speak, standing upon the shoulders of giants. There are obviously flaws in our current governmental systems. There's always a first person to do something and a first person to make it work. And when the system is obviously flawed, your only choice is to be the first person to do it. Preventing bias in these kinds of, democracies where everyone gets to say is a multifaceted approach. It's not black and white. You have to address a systematic and a individual level of influence. You have to recognize and confront the existence of bias, which is what we've done, and then, you must work to unlearn those dominant discourses and challenge those prevailing views that justify or normalize social biases, which is exactly what a social democracy serves to do. By putting the hands in the power of everyone, you prevent a bias.
Yeah. Because having one sole ruler will not have any open mind to...
With or without a council. There's no checks and balances.
Interesting.
I agree, very
Okay.
No, I feel like we've been steering on this topic for quite some time. I feel like we have to shake it up a little bit. We've spoken on politics.
Yeah. Thank you for the topic, though. It was a great discussion.
It was a great discussion, and I appreciated all of your opinions. Now, there has been one of us that have been very quiet this entire time, so I have some questions for you.
Of course.
Very specifically, you, Beelzebub. I would like to know, what is the reason that you joined Mortalis? What is your personal goals? Because Mortalis is all about individualism, so let's get to know the individuals a little bit.
I just
I needed a place to stay, and Reeve welcomed me with open arms. And yeah, that's basically it. So I became a part of this nation.
So you only joined Mortalis because they offered you safety, yes?
Not safety, acceptance.
That's
And acceptance.
yes, acceptance.
Interesting.
Interesting. Douglas, do you have any
Well-
thoughts?
What is your, it's obvious that you were brought here for a reason, I'm assuming.
I just kind of like to stay like near and listen and
Interesting.
observe.
So, you're in this interview, so I feel it's, important to ask you some questions. And I think one of the questions I would have is, what is your opinion as someone who is simply a civilian inside of Mortalis? What is your opinion on all of these?
First of all, I'm not a civilian.
No, no.
Oh,
I'm one of the crowns, though I'm not really big into politics.
You're
I
proud,
mainly
but you're
stay-
not into politics.
I mainly stay in the background.
So,
interesting.
very interesting. So you, Beelzebub, are a crown, the said figurehead, and public, one would put it, mascot of Mortalis, yet you don't dabble within politics, nor do you actively socialize. You, as you said it, stay in the background. So what is your purpose, then?
Well, it's not like he has any higher social standing. It's just a problem of organizational.
I like to help people in this nation from within, like not.
That's another thing. It's that
Yeah.
everyone is allowed. If I could answer for him, because everyone is allowed to choose, like we said, what role they would like to pursue when they join. They could choose to be a regular civilian or a knight or be a crown. Crowns will ultimately be more directly involved with politics. Whereas everyone gets a say, you can of course choose how much of a say you want to have. While he may not be going out on, diplomatic envoys and speaking very much during radio interviews, he's still directly involved with local governors and, aiding people rather than
Exactly.
swinging the sword or simply being a
Yes.
farmer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
What are you?
to speak on my turn.
What are you, Serge?
I'm a civilian.
You are civilian, yet you speak for a crown. Does that not go against
We all have the
them?
same say.
Of course, but are they not meant to be a social construct, something for people to look at as a figurehead, something to put a name to a face? Is
That's
that not what
when
that
I
is?
say for organizational purposes, I mean literal organizational purposes, as in, hey, send us someone who represents you guys. You'd go and you'd send a crown.
Yeah.
I think
Even
like
if
this.
that crown can't
Beelzebub-
properly represent Mortalis.
Well, maybe we wouldn't necessarily send someone who's not capable of representing
Then
Mortalis.
why
although
would
someone
they
might
choose
share.
a crown? That's the real question.
Because, like I said, they can still be involved in local governance rather than
even
being a
if
figure.
they don't want to deal with politics, even if that's not what they want.
He deals with
Because
politics
there's
on a
different
smaller
things you can
scale.
represent.
I have a very important question.
Yeah.
So, give me 1 second. I need to be reminded of your
One little-
name.
Good
Who's the one that's
One
been
little
talking?
nugget here. He's not a speech maker.
Yeah.
Of course,
That's all it is. Sorry.
of course. What is your name again? The one who's mainly been talking?
Eva. You can call me Eva.
Eva. So I do find it very inspiring that a civilian of Mortalis is so informed on these, on the politics and the government and how everything runs, but that does worry me a little bit, especially since we do have, as you call, crowns in this interview, and they seem to be not talking a lot, especially if they're representatives.
Let's look at it like this. Let's go with they. They are they are well. They can speak very well. They are well articulated with their answers to questions, and they've been informed by our representatives, and that is why they have spoken up so much. Now, should they choose to no longer be a civilian and be a ruler and help out Mortalis, that can be decided. But for us right now, they are acting as a more well mannered response to questions that you may ask.
Yeah, and we are simply having a discussion. We're letting the person that wants to talk.
Of course.
That's why most of us haven't spoken so far.
Of course. Well, I feel like we're staring back into politics once again, and we were trying to move away from that. So let's delve into something a bit more different. How about some of Mortalis's? Let's see. Let's see here. Yes. Fem, I have some questions for you. Now,
of course. I'm always happy to answer questions.
Word in the grapevine, word from around, is saying that you are a deal maker of sorts. Is that true?
I try. Yes, yes.
Very interesting. What kind of deals do you make? Trade deals, alliance deals, merchant deals?
Let's call them favors.
Favors.
So, when someone hears favors, I'm just going off of what I myself know and what I've been told and educated on, but when people say favors, they usually means that they dabble within the world of soul dealings. Is that what you do?
Well, I mean, it's what any person would do. I do favors because I think of it as a friend helping a friend. You should know very well, Jug.
Of course.
Yes,
Yes, I know quite well of your dealings.
Yes. And as I've told Jug, your co-host, this is merely a friend helping a friend. This is you doing a favor for me and me helping you out when you need some help. Now, if it is so soul binding when they shake my hand and they sign to the deal, then that's just how it works. That's just how it flows.
So you're not above taking people's souls, huh?
If they happen to break their deal, then it's simply a matter of that's just how it is. It's not something I would particularly enjoy, but if it happens, I will not stop it.
Will you inform people that their soul is on the line? Will you make sure they understand what's going on?
I make sure to never lie. That's a moral I stand by.
So you'll never lie, but you'll never admit.
In all my favors, I write down that it is soul binding. Your soul is on the line with this favor. I make sure not to hide anything within inside my deals or my favors. Everything is on the table when they sign that. When they sign it. I wish to hide nothing.
All right. Well,